Question number 5, Melissa Lee.
Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Housing and asks how many findings and recommendations did the Productivity Commission make after its 12-month inquiry into housing affordability, and what conclusions did it draw?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the Productivity Commission made 44 findings and 33 recommendations into its in-depth study of housing costs in New Zealand. The recommendations conclude that the major issues for improving housing affordability are land supply, materials costs, infrastructure costs, building sector productivity and compliance costs, and the government is advancing reforms in all 5 areas. In fact, over half of the productivity's recommendations were specifically about the issue of land supply and building regulations. The productivity considered but rejected a capital gains tax, any foreign buyer controls, or a massive state house building program, saying that none of them would make any difference to the affordability of houses for Kiwi families.
Supplementary question, Melissa Lee.
Supplementary question to the Minister. How many submissions did the Productivity Commission receive on its issues paper and its draft report, and did any of the substantive submissions raise concerns about the impact of foreign buyers on housing affordability?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, the Productivity Commission's issues paper specifically inquired into whether offshore investment had any impact on the New Zealand housing market. The issues paper resulted in 60 submissions from people around New Zealand, and not one of those submissions raised the issue of overseas purchases contributing to price increases, nor in the 90 submissions that they received on their draft report was there any issue raised. The report concluded that there was no evidence of foreign buyers having any impact on house prices. They did find, Mr Speaker, an identifiable impact of returning New Zealanders on house prices in some markets, but the last thing members on this side of the House would want to be to stop successful Kiwis coming home.
Supplementary question, Melissa Lee.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Melissa Lee.
What specific actions is the government taking to address the #1 concern of the Productivity Commission, that planning policies like Auckland's metropolitan urban limit is significantly impacting on house prices, and what support does the government have for these actions?
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, I'm delighted that today the Select Committee has reported back the government's Housing Accords and Special Housing Areas Bill that will enable, before the end of this year, significant new housing areas beyond Auckland's metropolitan urban limit to be opened up for housing. I am disappointed that opposition parties are not supporting the bill when all the evidence shows that this is one of the most essential steps that we must take if we're going to improve access for ordinary Kiwi families to be able to afford a home.
Question number 6, Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is for the Minister.